right, welcome everybody to the Sunday call. So great to be here with all of you. As you're well aware, a lot of energy coming on to the planet, nothing new, right? But the solar flares apparently have been off the charts. They say for the largest ones ever, and NASA's talking about it, and all kinds of people in the spiritual realm are also sharing with it and about it. I am going to do my very best today, but I have for about 10 days now had very high level ringing in my ears. It's so very distracting, kind of difficult to focus. I know that my body will heal that and it will pass very shortly, but it's making it difficult for me to focus and to channel and things like that. But I wanted to get on today and talk to you about the winter solstice coming up on Thursday and share with you some exciting things and information and stories, both with myself, with Debashri, with Denise and Michael, and about the Andaras, so that we can all prepare and be ready, because it's another enormous surge of energy. And as this plasmic light is coming in, some of you may be like me, feeling a bit disoriented. I have this intense ringing in my ears. I know it will go away shortly. And other people may be unable to sleep or sleeping too much or really feeling very intensified, what we might call ascension symptoms. I believe it's always a combination of 3D stuff and also, energetic. It's all connected and it's not necessarily all one or all the other. So, with that being said, I'm going to share my screen, and Debashri is here and Denise and Michael are here. We're just going to share some of the magic and the stories and the things that are coming in preparation for the solstice. A reminder that the winter solstice will be at 11 a.m. on Thursday. And a lot of people are asking me, if they're in a cave or if they're by the ocean or they're doing energetic work at that time for the light grid. What do they need to be on the call? No, you don't have to physically be on the call. It's going to be all energetic. Obviously, we'll be having the call and most of you will be on, and maybe you'll be doing the energy work right prior to it or right after, but it's all in time and space. It's very fluid and it's okay. And if you miss the call, there is a recording, so you'll be able to go back at some point during the day or before you go to bed and listen to it. Obviously, the more people that are physically on the call at that time, the more we're going to be anchoring it in, because we're connecting with the Andaras and they're going to be linking up together. So that would be fabulous. All right, so let's get started with that. Okay, everyone's asking me. The Master Ascension Light Code Oracle deck has arrived. They are here and they have been shipped. We shipped about 50% of them out on Friday. The rest are all piled up and will be going out first thing in the morning. So if you ordered it and you're in the United States, you will have it in time for the holidays. It's going as fast as it can. So the minute we got it, we started packing and they're headed out. And if you want to get one for a family member or for the holidays, there's still time today and tomorrow or the next few days probably to order. It would seem like things we shipped on Friday, people have got the next day. So things are moving very quickly. So we're in good shape with that, which is such good news. Okay, so let me share my screen and connect with you guys. Let's see. All right, so preparation for the winter solstice. And make sure that, if you've got on the right hand of your screen, everybody up and it's like going over something and you want to be able to see this, you can adjust that. All right. Okay. So, Winter Solstice Preparation. So this magnificent piece of art was designed, created by Debashri. And I had this intense vision after a cacao ceremony about a week ago of myself in that crone energy with long white hair in a cave, actually on the shores of a Celtic place, probably Ireland, with the ocean right there. And I went into the cave and I was with this cauldron and I was working with the energies and aligning with magic. And it was really intense and powerful. And I shared that with Debashri, and I haven't been feeling well, as you're aware. And she made this incredible piece of art. And we were talking together about it this morning, and there's so much in it. But this is really a representation of what we'll be activating and working with in the winter solstice. So if Debashri wants to pop in, if you're here, darling, that'd be great.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Debashri's in India, so it's the middle of the night for her. So can you share with us what's going on? And then I have a close up too, because we found so many fun things this morning. It's like the art's alive and things are appearing in it, right?
Yeah, every time we look at it, there's a new little gift in it for us, which is so much fun. Uh, but also, what instigated the art was a dream I had at I think probably the same time as your meditation, and I saw almost the same thing, which in itself is quite endearing for me. And I did see Kelly very busy making a lot of magic, and it was beautiful. There were a lot of crystals, the Andaras that you see in the drawing, and very present. There is also the beautiful egg that I think Kelly will talk about soon. And it did show up as connecting the grid points on the planet, which is the big orb that you see in front of her. And there was this this kind of matrix-like thing that came across as this hexagonal pattern, which you see across the drawing. And we both saw it, right? But
You
uh,
mentioned it as one thing, and then I was like, I saw the B pattern. Yeah.
yeah, so I just saw this pentahexa, which was uh, emanating from this thing that you were stirring up, and it was really so full of magic. I can't hardly begin to explain how beautiful the vision was, and I've tried to draw it. So I guess that's it. But it's got many layers in it. There's also the Idrisil, the tree, all of Merlin's teachings from the last code, the beings of light that you can see, um, and many elements that we're still
Trying
trying
to.
to understand. Yeah, and I'll be
So
back.
we've got Raphael up on the left, everyone, and then the white lion. We've got the rainbow energy coming in, which is the rainbow bridge connecting us. And then there's me, that's the vessel or the vehicle, as the living temple, but all of you are your own vehicle and living temple, of course, which will be anchoring in and bridging both the galactic and the earthly energies together for the winter solstice. You look above my head, there's an infinity sign there moving into the 0 point. And then, of course, up above that to the right, you can see the hexagon and the B patterns. If you look closer, you may see to your right, which was not intended, but potentially the Divine Mother Mary's energy. It's like a silhouette of that. And then we have the ancestral energy at the bottom, which is, like your grandmother's spider. To the left, we've got that deep inner earth turtle snake dragon vibration. And what's interesting is I was on the phone this morning with a healer because I'm dealing with this tinnitus, and she was saying that when Turtle came in, for those of you who are in our membership and we were working with his energy last week, that he was talking a lot about the tectonic plates and destabilization on the earth and a need to stabilize it. She said, as I went in to do that work, it was very difficult for me to channel Turtle that I kind of anchored into that destabilization, and that's why I'm like destabilized in my head, which is sort of interesting. And then we've got the Holy Grail there, and so I'm gonna move the image one more time, and this is a zoomed in version here of it below. So share with us what's going on here, Debashri.
Uh,
So much happening.
just
Okay.
all these elements that just ask to be in the drawing. But then the beautiful thing is that there's all these other beings that you can see around just emanating from the drawing that was not intended. And like I was telling you in the morning, there was so many things that I really didn't even plan for, which has been the case with all the drawings that have gone into the Oracle deck as well. So the chalice seems to be collecting this sort of activator fluid or water that's filling the entire drawing as well. That's probably why it has this very watery tone to it. Um, and I think there's something about it, but I don't know what yet. Um, and I mean, I can see a being around the chalice as well.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And then I saw the being on the globe to the right of the Andara. I don't know if you guys can
yeah,
see that. It's like a galactic energy. Do you see the elongated head there and the eyes? And then we have the egg from Michael and Denise will be talking to them in a moment, and the Andaras. And then behind that are the roots coming down, which came through in class yesterday or Friday as we were anchoring in the energies. And then the hexagons look like they turn into cubes, like as we drop toward the bottom, right?
yeah. Yeah, the hexagon is also forming the solid cube, which was the case with the Earth star when we worked with it as well. And so it represents that cube. It's quite amazing. And the other thing that I just recall is while I was drawing these Andaras, they kept changing colors, even in the drawing.
It's
So
unbelievable.
I mean, that's funny. Yeah, but I started with a central piece, which was a red Andara for some
Oh,
reason, and it's become blue.
really?
I couldn't get the red back. Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's so amazing. It's like every day is some crazy magical thing. Um, all
Yeah,
right,
and
guys,
that's the one that's in the drawing.
the one to the right. So that's Denise
The
and
one to
Mike.
the right, which is Denise's. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
magnificent.
So what this is, guys, is if you remember when we had the summer solstice, Debashri went to the Arctic and dropped the magic egg there. And so eggs, when we connect with the solstice, appear and make themselves very apparent that they want to be involved. But I'm not really clear, and we'll be asking Raphael or why. But the egg here to the left is Debashree's, and the one to the right is Michael and Denise's. And if you look at both of them, they have very distinct, clear beings inside of them. And so I don't even think I've asked you, Debashree, when you got this egg, because you didn't even know when you got it, and it's been a long time. It was that it's an Andara, right?
Yeah, sorry, but I didn't. And I mean, I was aware there was an obsidian of some kind, but this was even before you sent me the magic egg. And so every time we worked with the water, like we worked with the, the rivers. I remember that was the last meditation that we did where the egg, this particular egg was in it. And every time and then the Lion's Gate. And so every time we worked with this particular crystal, as you can see, there's this apparent plasmic light in it.
Mm.
which also connects to the north because of the northern light kind of effect. But it's replete with all these beings that you keep seeing in it. And I did also see the water and the whales, and as my daughter pointed out to me, that there is a turtle in this egg, and the egg is the ocean. And I see it. You can see that big white bubble in the middle of it, amongst all the other bubbles. The
Yeah,
prominent one
that
really
would be.
does look like a sea turtle, and it's incredible. I mean, that's
And
what she
then
pointed out.
and
And the
then
being,
this being,
yeah,
he's so distinct, right?
very similar to the gold. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at the other egg as well. Denise and Michael, are you on? Can you share with us about this incredibly special egg that you have?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm shortly after, I think you did a Sunday meditation. You had a Sunday meditation where you took us all, or Raphael and you took us down into the cave in the inner earth. And the cave was an egg on its side, and each of one of us were to step onto the podium and step into that egg.
Oh, I
And
forgot about that.
right, and the energy of that egg was like so revitalizing, so rejuvenating. It was dissolving the density in our bodies and our physicality and the energetic densities that we had, right? And shortly after that meditation, this beautiful being showed up. And it has the same gold. When you hold this, it has the same golden plasma. It literally dissolves the density, all the discordant energies that you have. And at the same time, it like reconnects, it reconnects you. It reconnects, like you almost feel like things are snapping back into place. And
Man,
it leaves you with this energy of, it's like an eternal amrit. It just kind of flows through you, and you start to know or feel yourself as that divinity or that divine eternal amrit. It's amazing how the energies flow through this. And it was I think that meditation was like preparation for us to have this. And so we've been with it in different groups activating it, and we're so excited to be a part of this activation because it has a part to play in the healing and in the morphogenetic field and the vortex and all that. So
It's very feminine in nature, and holds, you know, similar to a Shiva lingam, which is the kind of masculine energy. This is more creation energy, the divine feminine energy. So she's very soft, and it's not the intensity. Like when you work with a Shiva lingam, if any of you have spent time in India or doing puja or any ceremony with them, it's a very different energy, but the form is the same, and it's the source before matter. You know, it's that pure source before creation. So she came like right after that meditation, which was,
and I forgot about that meditation. That's amazing. So it
yeah.
feels to me that both of these eggs are a very important aspect for the winter solstice activation, and that they feel there's Debashree showing hers there. They're incredible, and that they are sisters of some sort, or there's some synergy that maybe hasn't fully come into realization around the activation and something for them to do together. And Debashree, where are you're going to be flying to a cave in India. Can you just let us know about that? And you'll be bringing the egg with you?
Yeah. So I'm going to be at the Ellora at the Kailash temple at Cave 16. Yeah, because it's
Wow,
too
you guys.
extensive.
That's where
Yeah.
Michael lived. When Michael was a brahmachari monk for 13 years, he lived there.
What?
I don't think I lived
In Kashi, but he
in
lived.
Kashi. She's talking a different.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
You
Michael's
you lived in Kashi for 13 years? That's amazing.
For five.
5 years, but he was a
5 years.
brahmachari monk for 13?
Oh gosh, it's my favorite place in India.
So all across the world. Yeah. Yeah. So they are definitely related.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, what's the
And
likelihood of this?
and to me, I love that you talked about the North Pole and this, and the South Pole. We're rebalancing that, and to really, I think that's part of the activation. I was guided, Kelly, I shared to order this big world map that we'll put out with the egg and the Andaras and create something that, when spirit kind of gives us the download, we'll manifest that in time for Thursday morning. And I think it's all about the poles too, of rebalancing that tutorial field on our planet that go through all the tectonic plates, right? And the elements and everything that's readjusting right now to create that balance, which is amazing.
One of the things that is coming up to me now that I'm looking at this, Debbie Shree, is Andara, light codes. When you look at these, each person that looks at them, their Andaras are heliocentric, meaning they take in the sun, they take in the light, and then they reflect back out to whoever's gazing at it, the light codes for their activation of their DNA, right? So what are we activating? Andara, Andara. Those are sounds, they're tones, they're vibrations. And when I was playing with the notes, I heard Andara, Andara, Anandara, Anandara. And that everybody will know, Ananda means bliss, joy, right? Of Ra, God, this joy of God. It's the Christ consciousness. But also the Andara is the Andromedan Syrian connection. So sometimes when you see eggs like this, maybe you're speaking about the Blue Avians and the Syrian Council and their service to humanity in bringing back the Syrians were the masters of the Christ consciousness, right? So that's one of the things we're all playing in creating this morphogenetic field of this Christ consciousness growth, bringing it back online or whatever our purpose is in that through our own forms.
Unbelievable. So I really find that interesting about you sharing about the North and the South Pole, since that information came through about the tectonic plates, and it feels like a lot of Earth energy shifting and moving and us balancing that during the winter solstice, which makes sense being the solstice, right? And the two hemispheres. And then so we should look at the map of where Debistry will be with this egg and where you guys are in Chadsford, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
how that links up. Wow. Okay. So let me move on here. I have a few things to share and then we can. All right. So Debistry and I went to, I have so much ringing, it's hard to think, to Italy to Dom her. And while we were there, I brought a gift from Michael and from Denise to her of an Andara. And this is the Andara on the left that they gifted to her. And then on the right, we have the magic egg that went, there she is on that picture. There's a round window behind her. She's on a ship in the Arctic. And so I just wanted to share this because you sent it over, Debishri. So tell us about the connection here.
So this was the beautiful thank you for the Andara. It's absolutely special. So it was on tour with us in Damanhar, in Barcelona, in the cathedrals, and then of course all across Egypt. So it came into all the 12 temples with me. And for me, it was kind of like a seed from the egg. As you can see, it's almost the same kind of light qualities, very similar vibration. And so I just wanted to have Kelly share this. So for me, it was a direct connection. Of course, it wasn't planned, but it just so happened that it was almost exactly the same.
And so we have Shidoshi we each have one of those eggs that we got when we came together. And when Kelly was doing the activation and you were in the Arctic, we were like, we have two too. So we have them here on our puja that have been with us there. So we have the masculine and the feminine, which were the poles. So when you did the activation, we did the masculine and feminine and put them in a grid.
Wow, that's incredible.
One of the picture that you did, Debashri, at the bottom left, where you see there's a lingam, right?
Yeah.
It's not on this picture. It's to the right there.
There.
See the
That's
lingam
the
right there?
lingam.
Yeah.
If you look at that picture, that looks like a cartouche, an Egyptian hieroglyph, right?
Yeah.
Inside of it is serpent, the Kundalini, and I think the other one's Sekhmet. I think that's what Denise was picking up, Sekhmet. That's an activation of the Egyptian serpent is a Kundalini energy, right? Rising up through our bodies, creating the Taurus field, washing and cleaning us, right? But also when you showed the egg, if you'll see a lot of the cartouches, you'll see the divine beings with the sun.
The Ra. Yeah,
Ra,
the sun.
Andara,
Ra, it's the Ra
head.
consciousness.
You're activating the soul star chakra
Yeah.
when you're in this activation, right?
Just by looking at this drawing, it's a complete download. There's so many I see dolphins and whales on either side. The sphere that Kelly's activating is like when those of you that received our Andaras, on the back, we put a little card in there, which is a globe with little pinpoints all over it. That to me is what I saw, is all of us activating that Christ consciousness grid, and there's Kelly doing her work. So it's so amazing.
And that center sphere, if you look at it, it looks like all the constellations. It's like if you were to look from Earth looking out, you could see all the constellations. It's like a map.
Feels to me like the artwork itself is the activation.
It is, totally.
Totally.
It we're going to do the activation, of course, on Thursday, but that is the activation. You guys just look at that and you will receive the winter solstice activation. It's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, let me move it forward here for a minute. Okay, so the water energy, really coming up. And I want to remind you guys that we had talked about when we go into the winter solstice. I've gotten a lot of emails and so on. Some people are interested. We really want to be connecting with the elements. So obviously, Debashri will be in a cave, and I know someone in Slovenia is in a cave, and in Australia, and you guys had I have it written down, in the UK. Anyway, different places, and we'll have to put it out on the map and be really clear. And then a lot of people will be working with the water element, with the fire element, obviously the earth. And so here's the water element with the whale and the egg and the similarity. And I don't know if there's anything here you want to share, Debashri. It's pretty cool.
Actually, the drawing that I sent you, the photograph of this egg, with the eye in it, also connects to the white lion, the drawing of the white lion, because the white lion also has a kind of
here, guys, you can...
right on the top. So for me, it always connected back to that as well. That pineal light, which is on the back of all our cards.
Oh, right. Here we go.
And it's amazing how, and it's also connected to the water and the beautiful whales. I mean, it's so evident. And the drawing on the right, the picture on the right, is a photograph of the magic egg that you sent me. And I could really see
the whale
in it. Like, you can see it, right? You can see it. It's right there.
It's amazing.
And so I sent you this as a comparative photograph of a real whale eye below it. And it's amazing. It was really alive. And I
It's-
saw all those whales when we dropped the egg, right? It
Yeah.
had to have something to do with it. It was just so beautiful.
And I feel like there's somebody on the call right now who will be connecting deeply with the whales for the winter solstice and bringing that energy in for all of us, wherever that will be. Amazing. Okay. Oh, so Andara. So we'll want to hear in a minute from Denise and Michael all about the Andaras, where they come from, why they're part of the activation and all of that. But I have this picture from Debashree of her Andara. You can't tell that it's the same one. Well, I'll let you talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it. So this is the Andara. I got this in Egypt, and I remember taking pictures of it while I was there. But when I came back to Bombay and I unpacked, it was blue. It was this color. It's the same crystal.
That's crazy.
But
Um,
yeah, it was so crazy because I thought I was going a little batty because it was like, no, this was not this color at all. It was specifically violet because I had to pick them, to fit into the Assyrian spine. So each of them had a color for the spine, for the chakras. And I said, no, so where's the violet gone? And it was blue in Bombay. And then the next day, it went back to being violet.
wow. So I wonder if changing environments and going to Bombay changed the vibration of it. If it or what do you guys think? Why would it change color? Because this happens often, right?
Yeah.
The Andara hold the rainbow colors. They hold all the colors.
Mm.
And no matter what, so they're activated to your DNA. So whatever colors you need, it'll change to activate those rays, the consciousness in you. So that's the pink ray of love and adoration. That's the love of God, the love of the divine, and that's what we want when we, when we're in the physical embodiment. We want to be loved and we want to love, and that's the Christ energy personified, right? From our world, right? So it'll change based upon you and what you need, but it holds all the frequencies. It holds the rainbow light, the full pattern.
Unbelievable. Okay. So I have to mention the Selfica because what I find really fascinating. So this here is a Selfica that I got in Damanhur when Debashree and I were there a few months ago. And this one is designed for time travel. Um, I actually might be putting it away because I am traveling a little too far. But what I noticed with it is that Debashree and I laughed that my house has become an airport because things come and go. And I don't seem to have much control over the controls of the airport, but ever since I have had this Selfica in my house, things disappear and then reappear. Unfortunately, more things disappearing than reappearing. But I know a lot of people with the Andaras have the same experience that the Andara is there and then it's not there and then it appears. The other thing that is similar to the Selfica and the Andara from my perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that both energetically feel as though they are embodying galactic energy and holding it within their own patterns to share information and activate DNA. And they're utilizing whether it be the glass or the wire to upgrade our DNA, and depending on what they are, they are alive with as we are becoming more and more conscious that the water is alive, that everything is alive and all the elements, that these are also tools to help us accelerate our ascension process. So yeah, it's really wild.
There was this very interesting talk, Kelly, with Veda. If you remember the guy from Hawaii,
Oh, yeah.
I think he spoke about the Andaras, and he spoke about how he was working with the Andaras to be able um, to activate the inner waters, right? And so that was the grid that he was working with the Andaras. And what was really beautiful was he spoke about how the Andaras carry an Aquarian energy. So it's very aqua, it's very water. And the Aquarian is the age, according to what he said it's the age of the coders. So what you get to do with the Andaras is you get to code the Andaras, because the Andaras have magically appeared, right? They've just that's what they told me in Egypt as well. They've just appeared from the rocks. And so they have just transformed at some interdimensional level and shown up. And that's why they keep traveling, I think, even with you. But so they have this capacity then to be coded. So what I always find is that when you look at a crystal, it feels different because it's already carrying information from the age of the Pisces or whatever came before the Aquarian. And the Aquarian is this transition where you get to bring in a fresh code. And so you get to create this grid with the Andaras, which is the magic of the Andaras, is really, yeah, it's really fascinating.
We I kind of connected with the Andara Shidarshi over 20 years ago and had a dream about them and mailed a check to some post office box in Mount Shasta to Lady Nell to get, and said, you have these crystals, can you send me what I need? And there was a group in Hawaii 20 years ago. They were another group that was working with them, that were being, and we have some of the ones from Hawaii too, that were discovered there. And the Hunas, I went to Hawaii and studied with the Hunas for about a month. And this was about 25 years ago. And they work with all the elements. So the Huna teaching is all in balance with nature. And it's all about the elements. And so the purity of their teachings is so similar to a lot of the indigenous, like the Kogis, and so it's all connected. And as you said, they're all coming up, and a lot of them are on what I would call the ring of fire, or the fire lines of the earth. We're near volcanoes, so they're being expressed and coming out, and either they're coming down from the stars or up from the inner earth, you know, to be utilized to create this new template so we can code them and be with them. And it's amazing. And you can feel the difference from where they come from.
So when Nellie, the Choctaw Indian that first found these outside of Mount Shasta, she knew she had something special, but she didn't know exactly what she had. So she went and got some channeling help. And so she had a very clear channeling of Thoth, the Egyptian. I think you've heard of him, right? So Thoth speaks about these are created in hyperspace beyond this third dimensional realm. They're not from the planet Earth, like the crystals are all about us connecting to the crystals on Mother Earth. They're all about connecting it to terrestrial energy. But these are coming from outside of the Earth sphere. They were created to be put here by timekeepers, as those would say. And if you know about the timekeepers, the time travel, right? Those timekeepers, some of us know them as the Mayans.
The Skywalkers, yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of, you are all time walkers. I mean, this time travel that Kelly's putting it, she's not probably aware that she's also doing time traveling. And so she's losing things because she's time traveling. But
there's aspects of you in other time zones.
But one of the things about the Andara that I just wanted to share was, like, you can put a consciousness in, the Mayans used to put consciousness in their, what do they call them? Stelas?
Stelas.
The stelas.
Yeah.
Like
the standing
in front
stones.
of their pyramids, right? And the Indigenous, what's the Maya? Indigenous, what's the
Kogi?
Kogi Indians, the Mama's Kogi Indians, they have little specific
Tumas.
they call them tumas, where they say this is where we put the consciousness of our ancestors, Jose Maria Kakamakua, which is another thing for Christ, but and you lose them as blessings, offerings. So they put them, they give it back to the earth to appease the earth, to give it back to the elements, because that's what they want. The elements want our love. When we ignore them and we don't give them our love, and we start giving them what we think they want, which is usually some kind of lack, we look at them and say,
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer. The tree looks like it's not doing well. They really want your love. They want you to sing. They want your vibration. They want your happiness. They want you to, whatever you love in your pizza. You got pizza, love pizza. Send them a picture of those things that you love, right? So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Amazing.
Amazing. All right. Here, Debashri, do you want to share what's happening here?
This is just the sun, like the way these things interact with the light, which is what Denise and Michael were talking about. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And I had this experience with this particular Andara across Egypt as well. Like the way it interacts with the elements in some sense, changes the way the thing feels. It comes to life.
Yeah, ours talk to us, Kelly, as Kelly says, they're telling her there's times where they have to go onto the land, into the water, in the sun, in the moonlight. I mean, it's a constant. They're always and like to work with each other. There are certain ones. I use a lot of the original ones I have from 20-something years ago to activate the new ones that come in. Like there's a process. They're cared for. They're cleaned.
Yeah.
They're put on the land. They're allowed to be in the rain and under the trees or run through a stream with a net. I mean, they really interact with the earth, and then it's time. They tell us when it's time for them to go to their person. So we don't really decide. And there's ones that stay here for years and ones that stay here a week. And it's like, I'm right, I'm ready to go. And so it's a being, like, as Kelly said, each one is talked to, and asked, what does it stand for? I mean, I spend a long time kind of channeling each one and meditating with it and knowing that it's going to find its person. And some of them have been waiting for lifetimes to be reunited with its persons, which is so beautiful. So yeah, so pretty fun.
Like you're the mama of the Andaras.
I never knew, the Mamos, when they were here, the Kogi Indians, they love the Andaras. And, I always give them gifts for pagamentos. Well, the first time I gave them a little bowl, they went bananas. I mean, they were just, and they all were talking and, grabbing them. And I was like, what's happening? And they, it's so important for them to have those to work with, and they love them. So, they all have them in South America. So yeah, they have big ones, small ones, all kinds. So they love them too.
Vishri, when you were saying you look at them and they change, right? When you look at them, it's called crystal gazing. When you start to look at them, your ability, your consciousness starts to look beyond the form, and you start to feel the being behind it. Yeah. That's one of the main functions of the crystals and these crystal beings, is to go beyond the form, to develop our higher sensory perception, soul perceptive powers. And these Andara do that through the elements, through the rainbow colors. They just kind of draw you in.
Yeah, so those of you that have them and are working with them, spend time sitting with them, looking at them, putting them in the daylight, even photographing. I mean, we sleep with we have rocks in the bed, we like, we have Andaras like on our bed, it's like someone would think we're, but it's, they'll guide you, bathe with them. I love putting them, I fill our pool sometimes and I just swim all around, get really high on life. So, it's quite fun, but they're there to teach you. They have everything you need. Everything you need.
So we're going to be working with them for the solstice. And if you happen to have one, please, between now and Thursday, tune in as much as possible, receive the energy of it, the download, and any messages that it has for you of how, because we're going to be activating and connecting them across the grid, across the map. So um Denise and Michael are going to set up, this is a not what will be happening on the winter solstice. They'll be making a different one, but you want to share with us what you'll be preparing and how it will be working?
Yeah. So this was guided. We did this in 2020 during the shutdown, and we did it in activation for all the people that had Andaras. We were guided to do this and start working with them. For the solstice so far, Kelly, just in talking with you, I did order a big map. It'll go on a table. We'll have Andaras on the map. It'll start to download into me in the next few days of how to, it'll be in our meditation room for some of you that have been at our place. It's where Kelly was a few weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. So it's a sacred place that a lot of really amazing things have happened. So we will take pictures of that. We'll share that. If I get it prepared beforehand, I'll send it to you, Kelly, if you want to share it. But I do feel like there will be Andaras on the map representing every continent. A lot of you have put your pin drops on them. Yeah, so we'll make sure there's clusters there. I may even do mini grids on there. And we'll have the egg on the map. And we also have the one that's in the middle of the other photograph is our cosmic whale. So he was one of he's been here a while, but he'll tell us where he's the big blue one. Yeah. So he'll tell us where he wants us to put him. Yeah.
Okay, incredible. So as of now, this map is not updated because most of you haven't gone in. On my website, you can go in and ping, you'll see it'll say Winter Solstice Activation Map, and just put your location so we know where you are. Right now, I think there's, I don't know, about 400 people who will be participating, and some of you have Andaras and you'll be working with that. If you don't have an Andara, that's okay. We're going to be activating it anyway with the others. So don't feel that like, oh my God, I don't have one. But if you do want one and it's calling to you energetically and you feel a need, you can connect with Denise and Michael around that. I'll send out info. You should have already received info, but it's on where you register for the solstice. And let me know, where you'll be. And some of you will really feel called to be near the ocean or the river, near the water in some form. It could be a lake or even a stream. Others may feel really called to create a fire and work with the fire energy. Some of you obviously will be going into caves and be anchoring in the womb grid, which is really needed right now and important, and that earthly inner earth energy. And then some might feel like doing singing bowls or working with the music and that vibration. And then of course the Andaras are going to light up energetically as we build the Christ grid, and we'll also be attuning to Mary Magdalene's vibration. So Denise and Michael, as everyone around the globe is tuning in on Thursday, and for those who are going to be holding the Andaras, do you have any suggestions or how the Andaras themselves then will be communicating with one another?
Yeah, I'll let you take that. I just want to say, because on our website, we've sold out of almost everything. So thank you, everybody. We did have some folks come. If you're local to Philadelphia, we still have some available. Because it is a process to get them up on the website. We do have some wonderful Andara family partners, someone in Australia and someone in Europe that have reputable, beautiful Andaras. We've been in touch with them. I can share their information. I'll type it in the chat. If you want to get them. If you don't get them, we will put all of those in the grid, and then we'll have them available for people if they want to purchase them after. If they don't have them with them, they will be, they're all going to be in, so they'll all be activated as part of the activation. But my suggestion, and I'd love to hear from you, is I would just hold it in your heart or your hand and be with it, and like you would in prayer or meditation and contemplation. If you have several, you may want to make a little grid on on your altar or on a table with an intention. Sometimes I say to people, put them on their business card or a doll, whatever you're called to do. There's no right or wrong. It's all perfect. And I would say just be open to receive and have an open heart. You may get a download, have a paper and pencil close by if you want to jot any notes or images that come. But they're so happy that all of you have said yes. So yeah, so it's great. So I'll say thank you.
Whether you have Andaras or if you have just quartz, regular crystals, whatever your favorite crystal is, you want to hold them in your right and left hand. And you can put them in your heart as well. You can put them really anywhere you want to activate your diamond light body, right? And you have your diamonds in your hands, and you have your poles left and right. And when you hold them, you're activating them. The diamond energy is going, and the diamond is the Christ energy. That's what's activating them. So whether it be Andaras or crystals, whatever you put in, the crystals will work more the terrestrial energy, the energy of the elements and the tectonic plates, and then Andaras will bring in the celestial, both of which are needed to create the torus field, the standing wave of the torus field. So, and it'll start to open up things in your heart. If you can just concentrate on feeling whatever's opening up in your heart, that's what's the activation will help with.
Yeah, so if we just go back real briefly to the artwork. This is what we're doing. We are activating the light body, the catum, my brain with this sound is very hard to function, but that's what we're doing. And we are the vessels, we are the anchor. And some of you will be really, as Michael was saying, connecting with that celestial, higher energetic, galactic energy and bringing that down through the rainbow bridge into the grid as we anchor in and light up the Andaras, attuning to the egg vibration, going down into the chalice, into the womb, into the caves, into the holy grail vibration, the cauldron is, where it holds that energetic space of energy. There's the Kundalini rises up through the center core, of course, connecting and bridging the celestial and the anchoring into the earth as we open up and activate the DNA, working with the hexagon, working with the 0 point energy, attuning to the white lion, Angel Raphael, our ancestors. All of those different elements are going to come into play during the activation. And so in terms of preparing, just eat really clean, drink a ton of water this week, stabilize your energy field, connect with and spend time with your Andara if you have one. If you don't, please don't feel like, oh my God, it's okay. Just tune into the elements and the higher realms. This is all going to link up and connect as the two eggs of the North and the South Pole are going to stabilize and come in together. And that womb energy and that beautiful womb grid vibration, Debashri will be holding for us in India in the cave, connecting with the egg, which is that North Pole vibration, and then the Andaras and the celestial galactic energy coming in through the rainbow bridge, and then it moving out into the Christ grid through the hexagon and the bees and all of that. And then connecting with the water element, which it feels to me will be perhaps the piece that I will be holding. So just tuning in right now, it feels to me that Debashri will be holding the lower energies of the womb grid, Michael and Denise holding this galactic, Andara, etheric energy, and I kind of being that vessel in the center to allow the energies to move through as it is received by everyone, and then taking it out into the water element. So you'll just feel into where you fit in that process. And we will be together on Thursday at 11 o'clock. I am counting on Spirit to release, and I am asking for prayers that I am turning down the dial on whatever it was I needed to hear that I did hear, and I don't need to hear it anymore, so that I can be prepared with all of you. And otherwise, what will be happening is however it unfolds on Thursday will be divinely perfect. If you know people around the globe who want to participate, they can do it. And we'd love to have them join us. All right. So anything else on your end, guys?
No, just thank you very much. Amazing.
What a beautiful weaving of all together. Everybody gets to have their part. They can be the roots, they could be the trunk, they can be
Every
the
part,
the
the dolphins,
branches.
the whales, the
The
feline,
dolphins, the whales, the lions, the angels, the dragons, the
the
serpents,
elementals.
the elementals, all the fairies and divas. Yeah.
the divas, the crone, the maiden,
Mm.
the mother, the divine masculine, whatever is coming up for you. So cool. So amazing. Wow. Okay. It looked as if we've had so many people sharing in the chat that oh, 71 messages. So what I'm going to do is, oh, hello, make sure everybody's muted, please. I will read over those messages and see if I can get back to people. But I'm going to, the message that I'm receiving from this noise is time to shut down, be quiet. So I love you all so much. Thank you so much, Denise and Michael and Debashri, for coming on, especially late in the middle of the night in India, for this beautiful piece of artwork that Debashri has created for all of us. And I will send that image out and just look at it, stand in front of it, print it, put it on your wall, move with it, connect with it, tune into it, see what you find in it. It has a life, it's alive, and things are emerging. Every time we look at it, we see something we didn't see before. It's truly magic, and we're so grateful to connect with it. All right. And Oracle decks are being shipped. If you need one, you have another few days to order for the holidays. I love you so much. Many blessings, and talk to you on Thursday at 11 a.m. All right. Mwah. Love you guys. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
Love,
Thank
love,
you so
love.
much. Thank you.
Love, love, love.
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 Love,
Take it
love,
easy,
love.
guys.